understanding on these erectile pills that he was taking is that they disclose that clomiphene's in there. He just didn't know it was in there. So per the rules, if it says it's in there and you take it knowingly or not, you don't get a pass on this. Now, I could have that fact wrong. That's through the media.
You'd have to know what clomiline is, though, wouldn't you?
You'd have to know what it is, but the bottom line is it falls to the athlete. So
Fighters
he can't just take it and go, well, I didn't know what clomiphene was. Now, Lesnar popped for the same thing. I popped for clomiphene. Clomiphene is a expensive, high-grade medication. Somebody doesn't just slip it in something, right? You just don't. It costs too much money.
It's an estrogen blocker?
Clomiphene's an estrogen blocker, but then what it will do adversely is it will up your testosterone while it lower. Now, if you take testosterone, which I did, you have to have an estrogen blocker just by good science. So commissions did have understandings on that. But when USADA came in, it goes on the ban list, and it is a high-grade supplement. There's not just going to get slipped in.
John is going to test positive. Or he did test positive for that, but he's saying that was in one of the supplements he was taking?
That's right. So he's saying, I didn't know. Now, they seem to be falling on the fence of, okay, he didn't know. But the rule actually reads, is it in there or not, and is it disclosed? Per the rule, they have to put it in there, call it tainted, and all that means is they don't disclose that it's in there. My understanding, and I could be wrong, I'll say that one more time, is that it is disclosed that that's in there. He didn't do his research.
Oh, he's still going to get the full
Well,
suspension.
That's not what his lawyer
should,
saying.
but I don't know
What's
that
his
that's
lawyer
where they're
saying?
going to go.
His lawyer's saying that the product in question, it was not listed as an ingredient at all.
Right, which would be very
should
tough
be
when you have a
proven tainted
$3 penis hardener that's got a $30 supplement in it. It doesn't.
That's very interesting. Because
doesn't
can
add
I
up.
ask you something? When somebody, without getting into too much detail because it's probably sensitive, but when an athlete decides to go on TRT or just anything to help himself recover or get stronger, is there? I mean, this is kind of scientific stuff. The drugs are expensive. They got to be, I would imagine, refrigerated. You've got to know when to administer. Are there channels for fighters where you guys kind of, I guess everybody talks and goes, this doctor's the guy?
Right.
Is that how that works for the most part?
It's how it used to work. Now it's pretty well cleaned up. Now, there are performance enhancers that are still allowed. They're just not as good as the stuff that we're talking about, so a lot of it doesn't exist. But, yeah, that's essentially how it works, is you would ask somebody, go, hey, what are you doing? Or, hey, I'm noticing this. Tell me what's really going on there. And as long as it's not on the banned list, they can do that. Now, they can change that ban list at any point. You still have the residue in your system, you're going to get flagged. So it's a slippery slope, man. The Demetrius Johnson rule, I don't know what's banned, so I only put food and water in my body. That's the rule you got to follow. That's the only one that's going to keep you safe.
But in my experience, most guys weren't open to telling me what they were taking. If you're like, God damn, man, you're looking huge. They're like, just change the diet. I've
been doing paleo.
All right, yeah, paleo. I'm a keto kid, man. Well, all right. In my experience, everyone kept it very tight to their chest.
I was always so naive, as a non-athlete. I have friends who would just show up and they'd just be fucking. I'd be like, dude, you're a giant. What are you
That's
doing?
obvious.
I just drink muscle milk all day.
Yeah.
And I
That's
didn't know.
obvious.
I didn't
In the
know.
training room, it's like,
guys
dude,
know. You guys know.
Yeah, you did it in 2 weeks. Oh, my God. I used to be naive to it, too. I have teammates come in and go, oh, my God, in 2 weeks, I've never seen anything like it. Well, then when I got exposed to it, I was like, I know what you were doing.
And then you can go.
When did you first start doing that stuff?
I started TRT in 2009. And I didn't know, some people would call it a loophole, or they said that it was none of those things. It was straight up on page 3 of the rule book of the California State Athletic Commission, which was where I was getting ready to fight, that testosterone was allowed. You had to disclose it to the executive director. It couldn't have been any clearer.
And to your defense, there was a lot of guys on it.
There was a lot of guys on it, but not a lot of guys asked for the exemption. No. Not a lot of guys came in and did the paperwork and did it right.
There's
when
a few,
I went
though.
and did that, I ended up in the I was the first guy. I ended up in the hot seat in front of a commission who found me guilty. I said, guys, I'm guilty of taking a legal substance. On page 3 of your own rule book, it clearly says you can take testosterone. You must disclose it. I disclosed it in writing, signed and dated by your executive director, who's sitting right next to you and is testifying the same way I am. And they go, well, it could give you an advantage. I said, guys, I took it for the advantage. That's the whole reason I took
Yeah,
it.
no shit.
But it's on page 3 of the rule book. They found me guilty of taking a legal substance.
how did they do
and
that?
I resent them to this day.
How did they do that?
But I got such backlash to the media, who also said he took performance enhancers and he took it, and
that's how it happens.
that all the other fighters just go, look, I'm out. I'm gonna even though it's a legal substance and I could get an exemption, I'm not gonna ask for it. I'm not gonna tell anybody. I'm gonna do this in the private at night because I saw what happened to
How'd
Chael.
they
But
justify
Chael,
it?
after that, it got hard to get the exemption.
Got a little harder. Yeah, it got a little harder.
I remember my manager, I won't mention names, had some older guys, famous guys, and they were like, "Damn, we want the exemption." The UFC was like, "Not happening."
It got hard, yeah.